Shalom, Israel. My name is Officer Kayad, one out of I.S.U.P.K, Jamaica. I.S.U.P.K started 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I.S.U.P.K is run by Commanding General YAHANNA, the one man with the rank and the authority to lead Israel at this time. I say, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Brakatam to my brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alatan Ba'asham Yahweh to my sisters. All right, so today we're going to touch on the Vybz Kartel and the Fox 5, situation. You know what I mean? I won't go into whether or not, Vybz Kartel is innocent or guilty. You know what I mean? We will leave that for the court. You get to me, I say? But what we are going to show is the reason why Fox 5 is taking, such interest in this, appeal. They don't speak so highly about our Judite brothers. You get me? Over there in the United States. You know what I mean? The black man over there, the black rappers. You understand? When they are facing court time. You know what I mean? Or jail time. You understand? Or when they are locked up in prison. You know what I mean? On any charge. You see, they don't speak highly of them. As a matter of fact, this same Fox 5 belittles them. Bring up them criminal history and them past. You know what I mean? But why are they so in favor of Vybz Kartel? It's because, you know what I mean, if Vybz Kartel should, bust this appeal, right? It would be a huge story. You understand? And they want to be the monopoly on that story. They are just seeking, the story before it becomes, this big story. You get what me I say? All right, so we understand to that there is a brother, who works for Fox 5, who's one of us, who's an Israelite. I don't know if he is of Jamaican descent, but he has strong connections to Jamaican dancehall. And he's the one that has been promoting dancehall to Fox 5. Bear in mind, this is the same Fox 5 that is the supporter of Donald Trump. Donald Trump being that racist president of the United States, the last president of the United States, who is known for racism. And we know that he hates black people. You understand? So why is this racist station promoting Vybz Kartel? All right, so what we're going to do right now, we're going to jump in at the tape, just to make you see for yourself what they said about Vybz Kartel, and then we're going to elaborate. You see?
He is bigger than Biggie, Tupac, and Jay-Z combined in Jamaica and known all over the world. And now recording artist Vybz Kartel is in the fight for his life and for his freedom.
All right, Lisa Everett's here now for an exclusive interview with his lawyer in Kingston, Jamaica. Lisa.
Well, Stephen Laurie, he is known as the king of the dance hall, a music superstar with millions of fans worldwide. But for nearly a decade, Vybz Kartel has been behind bars on a murder conviction, a crime he insists he did not commit. Now, in an exclusive interview, his attorney I.S.U.P. Buchanan tells me there's new evidence of foul play and fake phone messages that could throw out his conviction and set Kartel free. So he's taking the case to London in a high-stakes appeal.
Artist Vybz Kartel, whose legal name is Adidja Palmer, is much more than a performer and prolific creator. He's an influential cultural icon, the epitome of attorney I.S.U.P. Buchanan tells me that much of Kartel's 2014 murder conviction, along with 3 co-defendants, was based on questionable evidence from a BlackBerry Torch cell phone with a SIM card.
What was put before the jury was evidence that we do not know if it is authentic, but certainly what we do now know is that there was tampering of that cell phone.
Vybz Kartel's attorney says that evaluation came from a court-authorized British digital expert flown in from the UK. He believes that, along with what he says are violations of Kartel's constitutional rights, earned him the chance to appeal the conviction to the UK's Privy Council, similar in power to the United States Supreme Court.
Our hope is that the Privy Council, in reviewing the evidence, including the fresh evidence that will be put before them, would come to the conclusion that everyone has looked at the case or is certainly have access to the material, would find that the conviction is unsafe and cannot stand.
Attorney Buchanan says the Privy Council has several options, but he's focusing on the best case scenario for the imprisoned dancehall king.
We're looking for a complete overturn of the conviction and naturally Mr. Palmer and his co-defendants to be free.
Now, Attorney Buchanan says he plans to file what's called a fresh evidence application to the Privy Council within the next several weeks. He tells me he's confident that after a thorough review, justice will prevail and Vybz Kartel will be a free man by next year.
All right, so, you know what I mean? Vybz Kartel, I think he's a new lawyer. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if he's a new lawyer. You know what I mean? Or he was a part of the previous team of lawyers for Vybz Kartel. But this lawyer seems like he's pushing some, you know what I mean, serious force. You know what I mean? To get Vybz Kartel free. But Fox 5 no. Don't get it twisted. Fox 5 does not love Vybz Kartel. Or love, you know what I mean, the people here that, you know what I mean, produce dancehall music. They are just seeking the opportunity or capitalizing, you know what I mean, on the opportunity for a big story, you know what I mean, and to be the first to be on the forefront of something that can possibly become big. You understand? Speaking about the Vybz Kartel case and even dancehall on a whole, you know what I mean. So we just want to understand that, you see. And let me show you something. Vybz Kartel and dancehall is bigger than you think. The reason why they are not on the forefront, you know what I mean? Whether or not you like the music or, you know what I mean, the content of the music, you know what I mean? The reason why dancehall and Vybz Kartel and enough of the big acts them in the dancehall space is not on the mainstream. It's not because of lack of talent. It is not because of lack of, you know what I mean, of proper infrastructure within the, you know what I mean, our business, you know what I mean, infrastructure in the industry, as many might say. You see, it is because of the stigma surrounding dancehall, you know what I mean, and what dancehall does not promote for the most part. You understand? At least back in the past. You understand? Dancehall is known for not supporting certain lifestyle like homosexuality and them thing there. That is why they shun dancehall. Don't think for a second that dancehall is not as big as hip-hop that our Judite brothers create, or R&B, or any one of those other genres. Dancehall is just as big. You know what I mean? And is probably, you know what I mean, listening, being heard or being listened on the what they call it now, underground just as much. You know what I mean? But they don't put it on the forefront because it is not easily manipulated. You know what I mean? Except for recently where we see many of the dancehall artists started putting certain things in a them video. You understand? So, you know what I mean? That is the reason. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not that dancehall is not a great genre of music. You know what I mean? And it's not that Vybz Kartel is not bigger and better than Bob Marley. It's because, you know what I mean, the stigma that surrounds dancehall and the stigma that surrounds dancehall, that dancehall don't promote certain lifestyle, that is a just stigma, meaning dancehall enough to support certain things. We shouldn't have to, you know what I mean, stoop to the level of the oppressor, you know what I mean, and what they are pushing to gain their notoriety. We should be the ones that control, you know what I mean, our talent. You know what I mean? Now you see these Edens taking interest in our thing because to them, you know, our talent, you know, the very thing that we in a classroom we beat decks and we DJ and we make rhymes and we entertain ourselves as sport. It is fascinating to these Edens. You understand? These Edens don't understand how we just do these things at will. You know what I mean? I may have a scripture to show you why this is the case. You understand? Yeah, man. These Edens don't get it. You know what I mean? That's why we fascinate them. We being the slaves, the people that they drag cross over here, you know what I mean, in slavery and beat to a pulp, can still produce such things, such art form that, you know what I mean, fascinate them. And in our lack of, you know what I mean, systematic education. What do I mean by that? You know what I mean? Normally when you think about art, you think about educated, sophisticated people. When we in the garrison, we're not so educated, we create, you know what I mean, much more beautiful art form in the form of our music and all them things there. You know what I mean? It might not express itself to the traditional education standard, but You know what I mean? It is equally creative, you know what I mean, and beautiful. And it is from that comes directly from the spirit that is within us. I'm going to tell you why. You see, this is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13. And it says, ye are the salt of the earth. Now, who was Yahushua Mashiach speaking about here? Our Christ, who the world ignorantly called Jesus, right? He was talking to the children of Israel, and he said, ye are the salt of the earth. Indeed, we are the salt of the earth. What is the use for salt? Salt is what gives the food flavor. So if you cook some chicken, zin, I ain't put no salt in it. That no taste good enough. That is what Christ is trying to say. He said, we are the salt of the earth. We are the ones that make the world have flavor. Without we in the earth would be a boring place. It would be, you know what I mean, just this boring place where these Edens, you know what I mean, their creativity is not, it can't compare to ours. The things that we create, you know what I mean, even in our ignorance, you know what I mean, to the law, statutes, and commandments, the things that we create, these Edens can't create. They depend on us to make their empire great. Remember, you know, America being the greatest empire upon the face of the earth, you know, was built off the backs of the slaves. You understand? And now America subjugating the slaves, keeping them in a certain level, you know what I mean, not allowing them to excel as a whole, benefit from their culture. So after building up America and the West, you know what I mean, and you know, off the backs of the slave, now they can relax and enjoy the cultures of the slave. You know what I mean? That's why Christ told us that we were the salt of the earth. But this is what Christ have to say about it. You understand? But if the salt have lost its savor, you know what I mean? So if the salt lose its savor, you know what I mean? In our case, the savor is the laws and the statutes and commandments that the Most High gave us to keep. If we lose that, if we lose the thing that made us, you know what I mean, close to the Most High, and make the Most High fight on our behalf and all them things there. Here's what it says, wherewith shall it be salted. So if we lose that, we can't season the food again. We can't make the place nice again, so to speak. We not going to benefit from all the hard work where we put out, you know what I mean, putting in so much work in creating music and can't make it to the mainstream. Our Judite brothers over there, the Negroes in America, creating their hip-hop music and not owning none of the rights. You know what I mean? Being on, what you call it, 360 deals and, you know what I mean, only earning a small percentage of what the music is actually creating. You know what I mean? So, wherewithal shall we be salted? We come like we not have no flavor again. So all this creativity, and we not benefit from it. You understand? Hence the reason why Vybz Kartel can be so talented, you know what I mean, and be suffering, you know what I mean, in prison right now, fighting for his freedom. Because we as a people, we don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and the system abuses us. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Vybz Kartel is guilty or not guilty. You know what I mean? That is for the courts. You understand? But we are the salt of the earth, right? And it continues to say, it is thenceforth good for nothing. So if we now keep the laws and the statutes and the commandments where the Most High gave to our foreparents, you understand? Then we are good for nothing. Then we are good to be, you know what I mean, manipulated by mainstream media, you know what I mean, manipulated by the Edens, taking our culture, making billions, trillions of dollars off our culture, and we make nothing. Just the other day, Spice had a, you know what I mean, she had a contract with VP Records, I think, you know what I mean, and for 10 years, they're supposed to put out an album for her, and they are just putting out this album, and it is only through the help of, you know what I mean, Shaggy. You understand? This is how they treat us. They manipulate us. You know what I mean? And you can bet, you know what I mean, your last dollar, so they have been making millions of her just because, you know what I mean, she signed the paper. So this is how, you know what I mean, we become salts that are good for nothing, that now can't flavor the food no more. You know what I mean? Or benefit ourselves anymore. You see him? Continue reading. but to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men. So we are being trodden underfoot by men. You know what I mean? All over the world, everywhere we're there. You know what I mean? Everywhere that we serve captivity, we are being trodden underfoot. You understand? And these Edens, you know what I mean? They only come, you know what I mean, for the entertainment. You get me? Meanwhile, Vybz Kartel is suffering real prison sentence. You understand? He's doing real life sentence. And I'm not saying he's guilty or not guilty. I don't know. You understand? But we just are showing to say, yo, this is not because of any love or genuine love that they have for us. You know what I mean? This is because of we being the salt of the earth. And wherever we are, these Edens, like crows, them gather. You understand? Yeah, man. And with that, my name is Officer Kayadwan out of I.S.U.P.K, Jamaica. Remember to like the video, subscribe, you know what I mean? Leave in a comment, tell me what you think. You know what I mean? You think this is a sincere, you know what I mean, promoting of dancehall and Vybz Kartel, you know what I mean? And to what end? You know, just make me know. You understand? Yeah, man. Subscribe, like, share, go over to I.S.U.P.K, Jamaica. You know what I mean? Slakia, GEN.YAHANNA's new YouTube channel. You see me? Yeah, man. Blackwatch.news, Blackwatch News, and his website, blackwatch.news. And with that, I say, Shalom.